So City as good as into the quarter-finals. Only the second time they'll have done so in the Champions League. What were they like tonight?
Well, they won easily. The quality of the opposition was quite poor. I didn't think it was a vintage performance by any means by City. They got away with a few things when the game was at 0-0. They could have conceded goals. They could have been behind. They made hay themselves by the defensive deficiencies of Basel, and they won easily. But they can do a lot better than that, and they can't afford to be as mistake-ridden, I'd say they were at the back at times. If they make those sort of mistakes against a better team than Basel, they'll be punished.
So the impressive scoreline doesn't quite tell the whole story of the game?
No, they had plenty of possession in the match, as we expected they would do. But too often they gave possession away far too easy. Weren't as precise and accurate with their passing as we expect from C. They weren't quite as dynamic as we normally expect them either. And it wasn't as if Basel were brilliant and put them under pressure. They tried to press at times. They weren't very good, but City, they just did enough. They were 3-0 up at half time, knew they had the game won, and strolled through the second half. But I would have some doubts about them defensively. The same sort of stuff we saw against Liverpool when they lost the match 4-3, and in other games where they conceded goals.
A relatively unheralded man was your man of the match tonight, Ilkay Gundogan. Talk to us about his night. Well,
I thought he played very, very well, Tommy. As you say, he's one of the unheralded ones. Here he scores the first goal, corner kick, little bit of movement, not very much, but brilliant power and accuracy on that for a small man. And in the game, he was the one making the really good, precise passes, rarely gave it away. Look at this pass. And Bernardo Silva just about kept it in play, turned around. But he hustled and harried with the best as well and won the ball back. You know, this is the work rate expected from his manager. It would be hard for him. Another lovely little pass that I think Bernardo Silva wasn't expecting that he was going to be able to deliver it. Watch his work here. His hand up, waiting on the pass for Aguero, saying, look, I'm spare. One touch inside, another touch with his right foot, and bang, curls her into the corner net. And he's not known as a goal scorer. I checked up. His best season was 6 for Nuremberg about 7 or 8 years ago. He doesn't really score goals, but tonight he was on. He could have got more than 2. We'd see another little clip from getting up in the box. So look at his work here again. Hand out, prepared to take a pass, under pressure, composure, and plays her off to De Bruyne, who actually had a poor game by his standards tonight. Look at this surge, head up, looking for the pass, has it on, knows the pass is on, but then miskicks it. And there was a bit of that tonight from City. He makes a tackle and lies down for a while. But overall, I thought he was really, really good.
Looked like the sort of complete midfielder type performance. We've heard a lot about Pogba, I would say, at Manchester United and different players. I mean, he seems to have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, whether he has the real pace to get back into position beside Fernandinho when they get isolated, I'm not so sure. But the balance of the team, as we know, they take a lot of risks, they take chances, they give the opposition room to play, and they will concede goals. So there'll be still plenty of hope for the opposition, who are not the favourites this year in the Champions League.
Let's have a look at the other 2 goals that they got then and showed up maybe the poverty of the opposition tonight.
Yeah, look, just simple through ball, has his head up Sterling, all drawn towards the ball. Look at this. Bernardo Silva hits it. Look, I think, Tommy, you know, either of us might have had a fair go at saving this shot. Faklik doesn't do well at all. What's the shot? Here it goes. Slight deflection, and he just needs a strong hand and touch it over the bar. That's an easy enough save. So here we go again. Good run, surge by Fernandinho here. Nice tackle. Look at the distance he's shooting from. And the goalkeeper, when we see it in the other angle, look, he starts to jump up and then he plants his feet and he's stuck. He doesn't react at all, no agility, and I'm sure he was a bit embarrassed about that one.
You're going to have a look as well at Basel chances and perhaps how that showed those defensive weaknesses that you pointed out.
And this a bit, I think, is interesting. We know how City play. They press, try and retrieve the ball within 5 seconds. So the ball is up around the final third of the Basel defence. So look at all the City players. There's 7 of them there. Another one come into the picture on the far side. There's 8. One ball forward from Riveros. One ball forward. Look at where the 2 centre-backs are. And Company's looking back at Otamendi saying, you deal with it. And Oberlin, it's a dreadful effort. It should have been a score. That should have been a goal. That was at 0-0. Now here again, look at all the City players up in the press. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another one coming into the picture. Delph comes in on the inside. 2 little passes, and they're away, and they're out. Now Oberlin ends up 1v1, Lang makes a good run the inside. Look at what Otamendi does here. Now if that's not a penalty, what do you have to do to get a penalty?
That could have been a big moment.
Big moment. It was still at 1-0 or 0-0 actually in the game. I mean, that was a blatant penalty kick. Here you go again. The press is on. A couple of little passes, ball through, and Otamendi, when you watch it in the replay, you'll see he turns 360 yards. You don't actually see a replay. He actually spins around 360 yards and loses the sight of the ball. Here's one ball over the top again. Same thing, a bit of a press. Now they've 3 back. Walker's in place. They all get sucked towards the ball. One ball played to the far post. Watch all the centre halves, and Fernandino's there again. Look up at the ball. 2 spare men at the far post, and Oberlin heads it wide instead of heading back across the other side of the goalkeeper to an open net. Now, I could have shown a couple more, Tommy. There was probably 7 of them in the match. So that frailty in serious defence is still there. But look, that's part of the joy that's watching them and the excitement.
There's going to be a bit at the other end.
There's going to be a bit of action
as well.
They won't be sitting back and sitting on their lead.
But as you pointed out at the start, it wasn't actually a brilliant Manchester City performance. It wasn't a vintage performance compared to what they've done this season already. No, it wasn't the fluency in the pass and the little combo plays that we're used to seeing. Breaking down, sloppy passes, careless passes, and we just picked out a few of them here where it looks, look, here's the build-up, simple pass out to Delph, puts her into touch, Delph turns his back and away they go. Fernandino, here we go, back inside, Silva looks for something to happen, and nothing really happens. It's another sloppy pass, build-up, breaks down. I think it was actually Gundogan that time. Here you go, you'll see plenty of players around trying to play little combinations. No, it was Gundogan. It was actually 2 of them, but overall he was still there. There's a loose one from Walker. Now, a better team than Basel would have made better use of these opportunities. Look, they just struggled to get out here. The passing was a bit slow. Another loose one, Fernandino in the middle pitch. And we saw Liverpool taking advantage of that type of stuff. There's another loose one. And they're in. Otamendi again that time, Oberlin, well rescued by company. But typical of them on the night, it wasn't all beautiful, the beautiful game and the great rhythm. So there's hope for the others. So one of the less impressive 4-0 away European wins that we've seen. And I think we need to look at it like that. We need to look, because they are the favourites. We need to look. Is there deficiencies in it? And I think they were obvious tonight. Okay, reaction. Happy for him. What about what Brian talked about there, Harry? Defensive frailties with City. Are there things to worry about there for them?
I do, they're a fantastic team, there's no doubt about that. But I do, I think that there are deficiencies at times in the back four. It's not a great back four when you look at it, they're still not settled really. Stones comes in and plays, Company's back. Yeah, how long's he going to last for, Company? The left back is, Delph's done a good job, but he's at the moment he's still learning to be a left back. So there's Otamendi, you never quite know what. He's done better this year for sure than he did last year, but they're not, not unbeatable. I think that, I think there's 3 or 4. All the English teams have got a chance in the competition. Get a bit of luck with a draw and on a good day. And Man City have got a big chance, but they wouldn't be favourites for me. I still think, if I was honest and I had to put my money somewhere, I still look at Barcelona with Messi and Suarez and people. I still think they'd be my favourites. Coming into tonight, Neil, Pep Guardiola had only won 4 away ties in the Champions League knockout stages. Was extraordinary. Make that 5 now tonight. But is that because of what Brian's pointed out there, that his teams tend to give opposition a bit of a chance at the back? Yeah, no question. And this is the big event. This is the main competition in world football, really, and you have all the best players in the world playing in it, and they'll punish you. He does play an expansive game. I do agree that they still have frailties, but going forward they're very powerful and come at you at all angles, and some of the football going forward is just a pleasure to watch. The quality of the finishing, the power they bring, they can go 2, 3, 4 goals very, very quickly. But they're not the perfect team, far from it. And as the competition goes on, they're going to get tested more. OK, any weaknesses in this team, Harry? In the Man City team, very difficult. I mean, you even look at their bench, you've got David Silva on the bench tonight, Sane on the bench, Stone on the bench. It's a strong squad, isn't it? And it looks a strong team. Obviously, at left back, they've been struggling. Delph has come in and done the job there. I mean, in an ideal world, is he the answer long term? I'm not sure, but But no, it's a fantastic team.
Let's have a look at that man, Kevin De Bruyne, Neil. It's funny, Aguero scored 4 goals at the weekend, yet people were as much talking about De Bruyne's impact. Guardiola has said that he's potentially a Ballon d'Or player if he could win this competition.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I think he's currently one of the outstanding players in the Premier League, has been for quite a while now. I think he is this Man City team what Iniesta was to Guardiola's Barcelona. You know, he can score goals, he can cut you open with a pass, the way to pass both feet. He's got an eye for goal. His football intelligence is of a very high order. You know, he sees things quickly, and his way to pass at times is sublime. And his reading of the game. It's interesting that he's been converted from a wide player into one of the 3 in the midfield, Harry, as an attacking midfield player. But, I mean, look at this, you know, very little time, but, I mean, that ball's really travelling. Very little backlift. He reads it, goes and joins in again. He's just a superb all-round footballer at the top of his game at the minute.
Harry, you'd love to have had him.
Yeah, he's absolutely top class, and he looks a great lad as well, doesn't he? He's, you know, like Harry Kane. He looks a lad who just looks like he enjoys playing and gets on with it. Good professional. I wouldn't think he's a minute's problem. It's amazing when you look back at him and Sane, how Salah, at Liverpool, how Mourinho had the pair of them and let the pair of them go, which was.
Bad move.
We all make mistakes. I've done a few myself for sure, but that is a double.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
2 of the best players in England at the minute.
But the interesting thing is, I wonder what involvement Guardiola has had in making him the player he is, Brian. For example, Guardiola talks about his selflessness and the example he sets for the younger players because he's the first to chase after the ball when they lose it.
Well, I think that's one of the great achievements of Guardiola, that he seems to actually improve players. He improves their team play, and he seems to be able to extract the maximum from their qualities, whatever position. I mean, look, the improvement not only in him, but, you know, we might look at Sterling as well. Look at Aguero, who was the goal scorer, but seemed to be under pressure for his place when Gabriel Jesus come in, and now he's battling for the team, but he's still been the effective goal scorer on 21 goals in the league alone this year. So he seems to be able to get the maximum for them, but also get them into a team pattern that works very efficiently.
Where do you stand on this, Harry? There was a survey done this week that found that City is the most expensively assembled team in the history of football. €878 million worth of talent out in the pitch there. Now, where Brian's talking about in Guardiola, his involvement in those players, fine. But, you know, wouldn't they want to be with that sort of money being spent on them?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's you know, you look at the top 6 teams every year, apart from the one year when we had Leicester, Leicester winning the title. That was, you know, incredible achievement. But every other year, you can pick the top 6. They've got the best squads, the best, you know, they spend the most money on their players. But he is a fantastic manager. He looks like he's great personality. He's the type of guy you'd love to have played for, I'm sure. But most important, he's got good players. And, you know, without good players, it's a difficult job. He's got a fantastic group of players here.